So here's a headlight that's 25 years old. G'day fellas and ladies. Well, hazed up, crazed up, yellowed headlights. It's a pretty common problem these days, ever since they stopped making headlights out of glass and putting these plastic things in. It's been a problem for all of us, right? Doesn't matter who you are, what kind of car you own. This is a problem across the board. But today I thought I'd show you a couple of products to get rid of that. Now, I'm not into a lot of hard work with all that sanding and 3, 4, 5 step process. That costs you a few $100. Not my style. I like it nice and easy and quick. I'm quite sure you do too. And like I've said many times before, the next best thing to free is cheap. So what we've got on offer is a couple of products. The first one is Formula One Headlight Restorer. Now, what's inside this, I have no idea. It gives you instructions how to use it, but it doesn't really tell you what's in it. But it's fairly simple, straightforward, and we'll give it a go. Now this bottle here is 237 mils, and it costs about 15 bucks, and it comes from the USA. So, will it live up to its standard? Well, we'll have to see. But this is one of those ideas where you just rub some on a rag and give your headlights a bit of a polish. So that'll be the first one we try. Now the second product is called Headlight Restoration Cloth, and that's these ones. All right, they're all over the internet, and people are talking about it, and well, we'll put it to the test, right? Now this one's got magic in it. They even stated on the package, magic headlight restoration cloth. So it'll be interesting to see, but it does give you a breakdown on what's in it. There's a few bits of trickery and science, but of course it does have magic in it, so it should be pretty good, right? Now the first one, this one's 15 bucks and this one's 40 bucks. That's a bit of a difference in price, and it's two different methods, but I think it's pretty important that I tell you that I'm not sponsored by any of these products. I have a car here that obviously needs the headlights done, and I thought I'd pit them against each other and see which is best, because they both claim to do the same thing, and you can never really trust people or what they tell you these products do until you actually try them out yourself. So we'll follow the instructions to the T and make sure that we do exactly what they say and see what the results are like. So let's get into it, eh? Now the car I'm doing this on is a 2010 Toyota Camry, and these headlights have never had any restoration done on them at all before, but I'll be trying on each headlight because the car's got even damage on both lights, and it should be quite fair to test these products on one vehicle. That way you're not sort of getting that distortion of the product because it's a different car and different life. But this is, as I say, it's a 2010, so it's 12 years old, never had any restorations done on the headlights, and I think it's a fair match. So the first thing that has to be done is make sure these headlights have been nice and cleaned, basically giving them a wash, right? So there's nothing on them to react or distort the result from the product, but this car's been cleaned. And the other thing is that both of these products seem to be quite toxic, because they recommend that you put gloves on and mask up the paint. So you've got to be pretty careful not to get it on your paint, so it really is important to prep your area nicely before you get started. So we got all these prepped up now. As you can see right there, plenty of tape all the way around. This way you're not going to get any of this material onto the paint, which is really, really important. You don't want to ruin your paint while you're trying to polish your headlights. So it's all sealed all the way around, double layer. I've just used normal painter's tape, so it doesn't damage the paint, and it protects it while this polish is going on. So we'll start over on this one, and with the first product, which is the Formula One. We'll give that a go first. So we've got this one. Start off with the Formula One Headlight Restorer. Now it's pretty basic with this one. You don't have to do a great deal. All you need is a clean cloth like this one. Let's pop him in here for a minute. Get him all ready to be polishing. Now it says that you should put some on and rub it in for 3 to 5 minutes, wherever it may be that you're rubbing it on. But hopefully it won't take a great deal, and it's quite runny. It you know, seems to be slopping all over the place. But we'll start off with this bit and we put him on. A bit more on there. I'm doing this out in the sun, so it is drying out a little bit quick, unfortunately, but we'll keep working some of this in. Let's get a bit of elbow into it. I've used quite a bit so far, and we've only covered about half of the headlight. It doesn't seem to be reducing in its roughness. Now, these headlights were pretty ordinary, but I have seen worse. The old elbow knows it's working. Come onto this really bad part on this corner. Alright, so that has been well over 3 to 5 minutes, and I've used plenty of product and given it a really good rubbing. It does say on there that to do it a couple of times if it doesn't give you the results that you want, but that's the polish on there. So now we'll give him a buff off. Okay, yet again, another clean rag. Alright, so that's the finish. I must admit I'm not overly impressed. You can probably still see there's quite a bit of discoloration in the top there. You can see the difference where the headlight hasn't been in the sun. This part here and this bit here. There's still some yellowing, and it is better, but obviously they're still pitting and crazing. So I guess it does need a few goes. So let's have a look at this other one. Righto, so this is the next one, the headlight restoration cloth, the one that says magic right there. Can you see that? It says magic. But we'll take him out. We haven't been used before. Now in this pack they actually supply you some stuff. Set of gloves, which is quite good, but we won't be needing those just right now. A towel for cleaning, I suppose, and this is the actual cloth. Now, this company has a tutorial on how to use it when you buy their product. So one of the things they show you to do is to use a little bit of water when you're actually doing it. This is the towel, as you can see, it is very moist, so we'll give it a go just straight out of the packet like it does say on the instructions. Is just take it out of the packet and start using it, so it should be all right to go. Fortunately this time we're in a bit of shade, so we'll start rubbing it on and see what happens. Now you only get one of these pads in a packet, so obviously it's supposed to do 2 headlights. Perhaps add a sprinkle of water. Because there's no more product to add to it, whereas with the bottle of polish, even if things start drying out, you can add more polish. So a touch of water will make things a little easier. Alright, now that's been about the same amount of time spent. Pop that back in. Now, we need to polish this off just like the other one, and we'll see how we go. All right, now, I must admit, I do think that this pad is better. I'll show you. So, hopefully the camera will be able to pick it up. There is still some discoloration and that pitting, but it certainly has taken away the yellowing quite a bit. It does look quite a bit better, but it certainly hasn't smoothed out the surface, and even though all of the advertising shows the headlight looking like it's brand new, it certainly doesn't take it to that point. Now that's just one application, so I suppose if I did another scrubbing on it, it might come up a little bit better, but it is definitely better, but it's not new again. These are $40 a pad. The bottle, the Formula 1 is $15, and it's almost a full bottle still. So that's a one-time shot, and this one you can keep going at it until the cows come home. But it would seem that the cloth is superior when it comes to a one-time application. Now I will go over this headlight again just to see if it makes it any better, and I'll do a second application to the other headlight and we'll see if it changes anything. So after 2 applications of the Formula 1 on that light, it did come up a little bit better, but it still is quite crazed, and it certainly isn't bringing it back to a new finish. I didn't really expect it to turn it into a new headlight. I was hoping for a little bit better finish than what it is supplying. So it does clean up the headlight, it does make it a little bit better. I certainly do think that it would be a better performance on the headlight now. Removing some of that yellow tinge from it is definitely good. Now this is in the sunlight, so you can see this kind of pitting and discoloration still there. That's not going anywhere without an actual sanding and buffing, I don't think. But those kits are like $300, so it's not too bad for 15 bucks, and it is a little bit better. Now with this one and the pad, it definitely is a better finish. It still has the crazing and the pitting. There's nothing you can really do about that. You know, plastic just doesn't like UV, and but I definitely think these pads have worked slightly better. Not a lot better, but slightly. I think it might have something to do with the pad itself. It's not very coarse, the pad. It's like a felt kind of stuff. It's definitely not a sanding agent or anything like that, but it's sort of, it's more moist, it's thinner, and it seems to have a thinner grinding compound perhaps impregnated in it, but it definitely does a slightly better job, but I wouldn't say hugely better. Okay, it's basically just won this race, but for the fact that it is $40 from one of those pads, it loses points there basically because it's twice as expensive and only just does a better job. So if I was to do this again, I think I would stick with the Formula 1, even though it's not quite as good. I think that if I was to change the buffing pad, perhaps use something more like the pad that's on the other product, I think it'd probably have a better chance. And I'm going to experiment a little bit as well with this Formula 1, because there is such a large quantity still left, and that's the other downside of these pads, is that now this is supposed to do 2 headlights. It's pretty much run out of its compound. I haven't put a huge amount of water on it, just keep it moist, and the compound has pretty much run out of it. So yeah, it's a one-shot thing, and there really isn't enough to do this one headlight twice. You get away with doing 2 headlights with one, just, I think, but overall I'm not impressed with the pads, simply because of the cost, the fact that they, you know, run out so very quickly, and the end product really isn't as good as what they want us to believe it is, although it is better than what they were. So for my personal choice, I think I would stick with the Formula 1 and use a slightly more a rough pad with it. They suggested microfiber like these. I don't think it's coarse enough, it's a little too soft. It's fine for polishing, but you need something a little coarser to grip into it, kind of like this felt, and I think it'd be a lot better. What I am going to do is take this polish, put it on this pad, and try it on another headlight, and see what happens from there. So there you have it. Both of these headlights have been done. They do look better. There's no two ways about that. But they are pretty much identical. This one really showing more of its defects because it's got that direct sunlight hitting onto it. With this one, it's got the same thing. It's just that the sunlight's not showing through it to show it up as much. I think perhaps maybe it took off a little bit more of the yellowing and is a slightly better finish than the Formula 1, but I think going over that a few more times would probably bring it up to scratch. So there's more effort, more time with the Formula 1, but at the end of the day they both certainly do not live up to the standard that we're sold on, which is, you know, full restoration. More so with the pad, that they really are selling that hard, trying to tell us that they are, you know, magic, literally put it on the packet. I'm not overly impressed with it. Like I say, I think if you're going to do it, perhaps go with the Formula 1 and get a harsher pad, you know, that felt to rub it back with. But I don't think it's worth getting the restoration pads myself. I'm a little bit disappointed in it really, because, you know, they did say how wonderful they are, but perhaps they're talking about headlights that aren't as damaged as these. These are headlights that are 12 years old,
and perhaps they do have those magic results on newer headlights that have only had a few years of damage. I expect that would probably be the case. But now I'm going to try the Formula 1 polish on the restoration pad with a very old headlight of 25 years. So here's a headlight that's 25 years old. It's a XH Falcon headlight, and if I roll it over, you can see that she's old, she's faded out, but the main part is, you should be able to see just there, it's a genuine headlight. Just there, and it's 25 years old, as I say, and this is about as rough a headlight as I could find. Now what you might notice is that it's not as in bad a condition as that Camry headlight was after 12 years. So I guess they're using different types of plastic. Who knows? This is a Ford, that is a Toyota. Usually Toyota stuff is pretty good, but I have noticed that Fords fade out pretty quickly these days as well, so I expect that there's probably cost savings involved with the newer stuff, and that's why they fade out so quick. But this is in pretty good condition considering it's 25 years old. But what I'm going to do is put the Formula 1 polish on the restoration pad and see if you can, combine the two to make something even better, or maybe they'll react and I'll have a small explosion.
Okay, so here's the pad.
Haven't changed it, it's just what's left over. Haven't rinsed it or washed it or anything like that. And this is our Formula 1. Give him another shake up. Now we'll put a bit of him on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you might have noticed I didn't even wash this headlight because I'm being lazy, and I want to see if these things, polishes and stuff, make any difference when you don't do stuff like that. No preparation. But we'll keep giving it a good rubbing, dirt and all. Alright, so there we go. That's a 3 to 5 minute application. Let's see how it polishes. Okay. Well, I definitely think that the polish in these pads and this compound are very close to each other, if not the same. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The real difference is this pad definitely bites in more than a polishing rag like this, which, this is suggested to have this kind of thing. So when you add the Formula 1 to one of the headlight restoration pads, this is the result. Now I said this is a 25-year-old light, and that really has come up quite good. Now whether 25 years ago the plastic they used was different to what they use 12 years ago or even now is anybody's guess, but this light has come up quite well. I think if I gave it another rub with that, it'd probably polish up a little bit better even, but this headlight has come up better than the Camrys, which I am a little bit surprised about. I didn't think it was going to do quite as good a job as this, but nevertheless, there it is. The two of them together do equal a better job. So that is quite interesting. But I think if you took this product and got some of this felt and used it, that this product would actually outperform the restoration pads. The pad is really what's changing the application, I believe, and I think if you took the compound that was in these pads and put it in a bottle like this, you would have identical results to what's going on with the Formula One headlight restorer. So again, my personal choice will be the headlight restorer. Not only is it cheaper, you get more of it and you can do lots and lots of headlights. I haven't even used a quarter of this bottle, whereas this pad has cost twice as much as this bottle and it's completely depleted. You can pick up this sort of material pretty much anywhere. So $10 worth of this material, $15 of this, $25, and you've got enough to do probably 20 headlights. So value for money on the Formula One, not value for money, that's for sure, on the headlight pad restoration. But it did give us the idea of the material that you're actually using to buff it with. So Formula One wins the day as far as I'm concerned. So there you have it. There's the two products. And I followed the instructions on how to use them, and I've come to the conclusion that the Formula One's definitely the winner when it comes to value and reusability. I think it definitely needs a polishing pad that should come with it. It would improve the product no end, but unfortunately it doesn't. And the test that I showed you there on that very old headlight, 25-year-old headlight, showed that the pad really does make a difference. Now, I don't think there was too much compound left in that restoration pad at all. I could have just rinsed it out and just tried it separately, but I don't think there's much difference between the compound in the pad and the Formula One product. So for my money, I would definitely go with the Formula One if you're just going to do a bit of a touch-up. They're not perfect. They don't supply a complete restoration. You're not going to get a brand new headlight by any means. I still think that if you are going to try and get that new headlight look, you've either got the choice of going for the $300 or $350 pack, where you've got a bunch of different sanding grits and slowly work it down and really smooth off that surface, and then a polishing compound on top of it, or obviously to go for just brand new headlights. It depends, I suppose, how much it costs for a set of headlights for your car. Those old headlights that I showed you off a Falcon, they're $250 for a set of new ones, so it's obviously much cheaper to go and just buy a new set of headlights rather than spend all that money trying to restore them to their original condition, unless you're a stickler for parts and you want to make sure that you've got genuine or original pieces on your vehicle if you're doing a vehicle restoration. But when it comes to your average car, I think really what it comes down to is that these products are sufficient to clean them up, get rid of the yellowing, and give your headlight a bit of a chance to shine down the road a little bit. But obviously if you do want to have that brand new looking headlight, unfortunately I think you're still going to have to stick with getting a brand new headlight.